Hello, WordNerds! Welcome to our last live chat of the year before Christmas. Oh man, it's gonna be a good one. We're just gonna be reflecting on some stuff and talking about books and writing and all the jazz that you love seeing our faces every week for. So, if you guys have any Christmas comments or any ideas to share, please leave those down below in our comment section, and we'll see if we can get through them all. It's just going to be just a fun Christmas party time. I'm wearing a festive red lip and a cat pattern Christmas sweater. I see everyone else came prepared in pajamas, but I had to be somewhat festive today.
I want to brag, but these are my oldest pajamas.
Oh.
I am wearing a tank top because it was 75 degrees outside today.
Oh man, guys.
I was sitting outside in the cold for an hour and a half.
You Florida people. Well, it hasn't started snowing in BC yet, so I'm actually kind of disappointed. I wanted just like a little bit of snow.
We've got lots of that here.
Oh.
Snow in Georgia, actually. I mean, Atlanta got kind of a lot of snow. They got like 7.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa. You stole all of our snow.
Yeah. But I was just far enough away that I didn't get anything that stuck.
Oh, okay. It's fine. It's weird because usually we have at least a little bit of snow, and this is the first year in a very long time that it's just, we have the Christmas tree up and it's just like cold and raining outside. I'm like, I want a more magical Christmas, and to be a magical Christmas there must be snow.
I think that was really interesting. I saw like someone posted a map recently about like the like frequency throughout history of like snow in certain parts of like North America, and most of North America does not have snow on Christmas on average. Like even the northern parts, it's like a little, it's like the Atlantic seaboard, like northern Atlantic gets snow on Christmas, but everybody else doesn't. And so the person was like, it's so odd that we like expect snow on Christmas when most of North America does not get snow on Christmas.
It's all the Christmas songs
very often. Yeah. So it was like all of these songs and movies must be written by people from like the Northeast.
Yeah. Well, like every time I've ever traveled anywhere that's not BC, honestly, everyone's like, oh, like, you know, is it snowing there? I'm like, no, I live on the West Coast, so it's a temperate rainforest, actually. So, no.
Yeah.
You're from Canada.
The last winter that I lived in Utah, it like snowed on Christmas Day. That was like our first snow, and it was a big deal. Like it usually didn't snow on, like it would maybe snow like right around Thanksgiving, and then there wouldn't be any more snow till like January.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Like we'll probably have snow on the ground for Christmas, like what it's looking at. But 2 Christmases ago, Matt went out on the motorcycle on Christmas Eve because it was warm. Like it's just so hit and miss.
Yeah.
Like,
I will not have snow on Christmas. It's pretty much a guarantee. It's actually supposed to be like 80 degrees or something.
Oh God. That's just outrageous to me. But I mean, yeah, you guys drink lemonade on Christmas, like mow your lawn, like that's totally normal.
I mean, it's kind of nice growing up because, like, you could actually, like, if you had, like, outdoor toys, you could go out. Like, if you got a bike, you could go ride your bike on Christmas instead of being like, you got a bike for Christmas, now wait 6 months until you can use it. You know?
That is true. I didn't think about that. Lovely. All right, let's go into the reading and writing stuff. So how about we go down the line and we'll just talk about a book that really made a big impression on us this year.
oh. Should have prepared and got.
So I like kind of gave preparation, but like not really. So like I'll let you guys think about it for a second.
I've done like top 5 a couple times already, like in a video I made the other week, and then Kyra actually tweeted about like what were your top 5 favorite books, and I replied to that. But it's hard to pick like an actual favorite out of the 5. But
not like a favorite, just like one that made a big impression on you. Because on my own YouTube channel, I have to make a favorite books. I have it listed, but there's like so many that I'm like, oh man, like I don't quite know which one to pick.
And I feel like it's like easy to pick like your top 2 or 3, but then when you get past that, you're like, oh, but there are all these like good ones. But which ones are
right? Yeah, right. They're all just good.
This was such a big rereading year for me that a lot of my favorites are like. Harry Potter was great. All of my favorite books by my favorite author were great.
Yeah, it has Christmas in it. That's fine. That can count as a Christmas book.
I really liked a couple of my favorites were Dear Martin by Nick Stone, and that was definitely like one with a lot of impact. And One of Us is Lying by Karen McManus.
I just read that, and I really want to talk to you guys about that because we're not doing it until February, I think. And like I want to talk about it now.
I know, right?
That was actually
I'm excited
the
for
last
that
book I read.
book.
Yeah, I haven't read it yet, but I accidentally got spoiled, and I know that it's one of my Christmas presents.
Oh, right.
I
I
spoiled
spoiled
the book.
and I was
I
like,
got
no.
spoiled that I'm getting the book for Christmas.
Nice. I feel like this year I read a lot of stuff that didn't come out this year. Just this was the year that I ended up reading it. So like I don't know if that's cheating or
That's
not. But
fair.
like,
no, that's totally fair.
okay.
Kelly's are all rereads.
Yeah,
So.
I read like
True,
3
okay,
new
fair.
releases this year or something.
Well, because like I read all of Patrick Rothfuss this year, and like that is very quickly becoming one of my favorite books ever. Even though I know that came out a long time ago, but I read all of his stuff pretty much back to back, and that was amazing, and I loved it so much. But then also a lot of sequels came out, a lot of end books, or like wait, hold on, what's it called? Is it Prince of? Yes, Lord of Shadows by Chad Duclair came out, like, which was so good. Oh my lord! And then, oh my god, I want to know so bad about Drew and the little blonde boy from the fairy court that just kind of showed up, and I'm like, I knew it. It's gonna be a conspiracy hole. If no one like knows the series, it's not gonna make any sense. I'm like, it's freaking Sebastian and the Queen's freaking demon fairy baby. I just know it is.
The whole
Something's gonna go down.
The end of that book upset me so much.
I'm getting so warm now. Christmas sweater was a bad idea. Okay.
A great second book in this series.
Yes. And like Aqua War came out, the last one from Sarah J. Maas. Actually, 2 Sarah J. Maas books came out this year, and like another one of V.E. Schwab, The Conjuring Light came out like way back in the beginning of the year. And then I read a couple of advance copies the last couple of months that don't come out till next year that I really, really loved. So I'm like, oh man, I can't talk about it until like May. Which I know, man, it's such a hard life, but you know what I mean?
Came out this year, which was a great conclusion to that duology. Crooked Kingdom.
Oh yes.
It was like early this year, yeah.
That came out this year? See, like I can't even remember what came out this year because I really think like the last like couple months like counted.
I was forgetting about the beginning, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, what came out in January? I think Conjuring of Light was like February, I think. Our Dark Duet by another one by V.E. Schwab. That one came out earlier.
This is a big year for contemporaries for me, which is unusual.
Yeah.
But like, I loved Eliza and Her Monsters, Geekerella, The Upside of Unrequited.
Yes,
Geekerella, like they were all great.
Oh, I finally read. I read Adam Silvera's "They Will Die at the End," but I finally read like all of his books this year, which was great. So it was kind of fun to like discover him as an author this year. So yeah, I never read More Happy Than Not until someone was like, no, like you have to, and I did, and it was wonderful. I love Adam Silvera so much, so I'm really excited.
You Left Me was definitely a big one for me.
Yeah, it was a great book.
I loved I Hate Everyone But You by Gabby Dunn and Alison Raskin. So
Oh,
like
is that
all contemporary stuff.
I'm gonna sound like super me, but like that was actually good.
I really liked it.
Oh, really? Okay, because I was like, I have my doubts on that, but all right, good to know. It was good.
Like it wasn't like super amazing 5 stars, but solid 4-star.
Okay, cool. What came out this year? Oh, Maggie Stiefvater's new book.
I just got that from the library.
Yeah.
I have an advanced copy that I still haven't read.
Nice. I got the advanced copy and just like died, like just straight up. I was so excited. It's interesting, and I'm interested to hear what you guys think of it because I have other friends that have a very mixed reviews on it.
Part of the reason I read like 2 chapters and then put it down and have not picked it up again, so I was not super excited about it when I started with it.
Yeah, it's fine. Read The Raven Boys again.
I know, right? I'm like actually listening to the audiobooks again right now, but
oh, nice.
I'm listening to Dream Thieves right now.
Ooh.
The best one in the series.
Yeah, totally. Oh man, what else?
This year I worked through a lot of nonfiction, both like general nonfiction and like nonfiction on writing. So like The Emotional Craft of Fiction and The Anatomy of Story. I am almost finished with both of those. And they've been like world changing as far as writing is concerned. And then I also read Smoke Gets in Your Eyes and Other Lessons from the Crematory by Caitlin Doty. And that one
what? That sounds so cool.
My favorite book. She like talks about her experiences working in a crematory. And it's amazing. It made me think a lot about life and death and has definitely turned me very like death positive, like, I don't know.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Happy holidays. We're all gonna die someday.
1 year closer to our inevitable deaths.
No, it was so good because, I mean, death is something I think most people feel anxious about, and she makes it seem less anxious making.
What's it called? Smoke Gets in Your Eyes under their stories? That sounds actually quite interesting. I'm going to see if I have that at my store.
It's really good.
Yeah, I'm not a big nonfiction person. That's actually, I'm going to just kind of segueing into this, that one of the other questions I had for you guys is like, do you have a New Year's resolution surrounding reading, or like, do you want to get into something more? Do you want to read a certain amount of books? And that one, I wanted to read more nonfiction because I read a lot of poetry this year, which was cool. Like I got into poetry, but I like to read some other kind of like biography or maybe some more like actual on writing books. So change it up a little bit because I'm strictly a fiction person.
That's actually like a goal. Like every single year, I'm like, I'm gonna read more nonfiction, and I always like tell myself I'm gonna read like one nonfiction book per month, and I make it through like February or March, and then I forget. It's not even that like I enjoy it when I do read it, but I just forget about it because I get so caught up in all of the novels that I like am supposed to be reading because I'm excited for them that I just forget to pick up nonfiction books. And
Yeah, like one thing that I never ever read biographies, but I have another friend who loves biographies, and she especially loves pop culture biographies, so she's recommended me a couple of people, especially I think Mara Wilson, who was the actress that played Matilda. She apparently has an amazing biography that I have to read, so I might look into that. And also there's another YouTuber, Anna Akana, that I really love.
Hers too.
Yeah, she made the Letters to My Sister, I think, or things I Never Told You, which is Letters to My Sister, and I really wanted to read that one. Just didn't get around to it because it's school. Essays.
They're great.
On that topic, I'm pretty sure I nailed both of my final exams.
Yay!
Actually, no, I nailed one of them. The other one, I'm like, I nailed the essay, but short answers were, we'll see. It was so oddly specific, and I'm still so salty about it because it was an English final, and I was like, I'm going to do great, and I nailed the essay, but the short answers were weird. It's like, describe exactly who is speaking, what book they're from, and the author of the book, and then tell what the context is. I'm like, I don't remember this one insequential paragraph on flowers. Like, why are you doing this to me? So I was not sure what my mark's going to be on the other ones, but I survived. Now I have to look forward to 2 weeks of Christmas retail.
Yay!
Yay! Oh, yes. At a bookstore, which I mean, at least it's at a bookstore.
Yeah, at least people are buying books for people for Christmas.
Yes, it's awesome. Actually, it's super cool because I've created a reputation for myself at the bookstore as the person that knows like all the teen stuff and all the fantasy stuff. So if people see that I have my staff pick sticker on a book, they will buy it. It's kind of awesome. I know, it's awesome. Like someone told me that they overheard some girls the other day like looking at a display, and I had my Sapphic sticker on a bunch of stuff. And at the bookstore, I'm known as Sarge because that's my nickname, because there's a couple other Rachels there. So I'm Sarge. And they're like, oh, I don't know who this Sarge is, but they have really good taste in books. Like, oh, they recommended this one, I'm going to get it. I'm like, yeah! I'm following. So it begins. Yeah, I'm pretty happy about that.
Next year, I'm really hoping to get back in love with fantasy. I wrote a lot of fantasy, and this year I felt like fantasies, all the ones that were coming out, were much slower paced, more like really savor it fantasy, which wasn't quite working for me this year. And so I would love to, I think I only read like 2 or 3 fantasies this whole year, so I would love to get that number back up and find things I'm really enjoying again.
Yeah, I really
should read. You know what you should read? It's another one of my favorite books that came out this year, which is Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor.
Yeah. That's on my team.
I love this book. I just kind of like remembered it as one of my favorite books of the year because I forgot that it came out this year. It's like, again, it came out like in, I don't know, April or something. Guys, it's so good. It's so good. And I think you'd really like it because it's very immersive.
Yes. Is it standalone?
No, it's a duology.
Okay.
It's just a duology.
Oh, just a duology?
Yeah. Yeah. It's Muse of Nightmares is the second one. That's it.
Yes. okay. I'm down for this. I thought it was a series. I was like, I don't know if you're gonna get a series. A duology, I can do that. That's doable.
Excellent.
It was so good. So many plot twists.
Yeah, I think I agree that like a lot of fantasy was like slower paced and like character focused, which can be really good, but I think it's a lot harder to do than like fast paced like action fantasy. Because there were some I read that were slow paced that I thought were like fantastic. Winter Song by S.J. Jones is really good. But a lot of them I really struggled with. Yeah, because it's like if your fantasy is not going to be fast paced, like you have to make the readers feel invested for some reason, and a lot of them I just like couldn't get invested in like the character and their like story. So.
Yeah, well, there's a book I'm actually reading it right now, and it comes out next year. It's an advanced copy. It's The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert.
Oh, I've seen that one.
Yeah, already actually.
Oh, really? Oh, and okay, in Canada it's not out until the end of January.
I thought we got it at work already, but I could be wrong.
What? Okay, that's kind of cool. But I'm reading it right now, and it's I don't know, because it's very slow. It's very slow, and I don't know if this is well done or if it's not well done, because every time I'm like, I'm so bored. When is this gonna get interesting? She throws in this extra little, like a little nugget of some like creepy fairy thing, and then keeps going, and I'm like, nah, I want to know. So like I keep reading because I keep wanting it to happen. So I'm not sure if it's like done on purpose or not. It's such a slow. It's so much book, and it's so slow, and I'm like, oh, hurry up! I want to do the thing, and then it's like, here's a little thing, and then I'm like, oh, right, something's gonna happen. So I keep reading, and then I'm like, oh, I'm like, it's okay, it's gonna like, here's a little thing, and I'm like, oh my god, I want to keep doing. So it's like, I think she's doing a good job.
Yeah. Also, I was wrong. The Hazelwood comes out in January here as well. I think I'm thinking of another book that has like a similar cover or something.
Yeah, it's a beautiful cover. I love it.
Wait, I'm like, even the advanced copy is shiny.
Yeah. Ooh. So pretty.
It's so beautiful.
But yeah, no, I had kind of a similar experience with Flame in the Mist by Renee Adia. Which like I really struggled through. It took me like a month to read it or something. I really struggled through it because it was very slow paced, and like I just couldn't really get into a lot of the characters and stuff. And so I was like, I don't know. I was like, I'm just gonna finish this because I want to finish it. And then I read like the last 30 pages, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to read the second book. And now I'm really upset because I wasn't planning on reading it, because I was like, no, I just need to finish this one. And then I was like, oh, I'm so upset now. But the second one sounds like it's going to have some like court intrigue, which I love, like court political intrigue in fantasies. So hopefully that's done well, because then I could really get into it.
Well, that's actually going to be one of my other questions, is what book are you excited for in 2018? So I guess that sequel.
Aaron's book. Aaron's book. That February 13th. Yeah. In case you've never tuned in before, Erin is one of our word nerds. She hasn't been here lately because she has started her maternity leave because she's having a baby at the end of this month or next month. Who knows? But it's coming. But she also has a book coming out February 13th called The Strange and Deadly Portraits of Bryony Gray. It's coming out from Tundra Books, which is an imprint of Penguin Random House, and it's real good, and you should all pre-order it.
Yay!
And we can hype it up as much as we want.
Yeah, she's not here, so we can plug it as much. Yeah, it's gonna be great. She could stop us now.
Now I'm looking through Goodreads and realizing how many things I'm excited for. I'm a little bit stressed about it.
I am so excited for Children of Blood and Bone by Tony Ademi, because Twitter is plugging the crap out of it, and I want it so bad.
If it's not good, I'm going to be so upset, but I think it's going to be good.
Someone literally compared the world building to J.R. Tolkien, and I'm like, yeah. Okay, I have very high hopes for this book.
I'm so excited.
I'm really excited.
I'm always just so nervous, though, for those books that like get really hyped, because I'm like, oh no, what if I hate it?
Well, like, yeah, well, like the Hazelwood was hyped the crap out of, and I'm like, it's good. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, I wanted it to be a lot better, but hopefully the second. Wait, I'm already like almost done. I'm like, really?
That says something.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm almost done, but at the same time, I'm like, I read all that, and like, I'm only where I'm at now.
Yeah. You
Uh,
know what I'm really excited for?
hmm.
On October 2nd of 2017, What If It's Us by Becky Albertalli and Adam Silvera.
Yes, 28.
Oh yeah.
I'm so excited about that book.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's gonna be so good.
Also, Leah on the Offbeat.
Yes,
by
that
Becky
one,
Albertalli.
I love the cover. It's so good.
Yeah. I'm interested to read it because, like, I did not really like Leah in Simon. She like really bothered me. So I'm hoping this will like turn around my opinion of her, like getting inside her head. Like I think seeing her from an outsider's perspective, she like bugged me. So I hope that like getting into her head will make me like her more.
I'm also really excited for From Twinkle with Love.
Yeah.
Companion novel to When Dimple Met Rishi.
Yeah.
When
I read
Dimple
the first
was super cute.
It's so good.
Is that one?
Yeah.
That one's not a companion novel, is it? Because she has like. Because there's the other one that's about the brother.
No, yeah, there's a different one that's all about the brother.
Yeah.
And this one, I think we're gonna like get hints, like you'll have a cameo of one of the characters. But this one is all like epistolary. Is that how you say it? Where it's all letters.
Yeah.
Oh.
And the voice is amazing. I read the first chapter. They did like a preview of it, and it was so cute.
It's so cute. I love it.
Ooh,
and it starts in a coffee shop again.
Yes.
I just want a coffee shop romance. This is all I want.
Speaking of epistolary books, I'm also excited for Sight Witch.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
That'll be really
Excitement.
cool.
I tweeted at Susan Deddard because it was one of those like the cover reveal, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's Isold! I love this so much!" And she liked my tweet, and I was like, "Oh my god, Senpai noticed me."
It's also it's not Isold. You know that, right?
Wait, really?
No,
it's
a different girl. This is like a prequel thing, kind of like it's before Truth Witch.
Yeah.
And it's about Ryber, the girl that like was in love with Eric's friend. Yeah.
Oh my god, what?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness, I've been so uninformed. Okay.
Now you know.
Oh, I thought it was Isold. Oh man. Okay, that's embarrassing. Oh well.
At least she was nice enough to just like your tweet.
Yeah, exactly. Oh no. Oh no. Oh dear. Okay.
Yeah, because Blood Witch was initially planned to come out in January, but they had to push it back to next year, and so they replaced it with Sight Witch. So we would still get something.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were still got something, but
which then Sight Witch got pushed back because of all the formatting that they have to do because it's epistolary.
Also, speaking of epistolary,
and there's art and stuff.
Are you about to say
Obsidio?
Yes.
I'd say what?
That is probably
Obsidio.
Oh yes.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. I keep forgetting about it.
Obsidio and the third one in the Nevernight trilogy. I'm like, I love Jay Kristoff. He's so cool. Oh, it's gonna be.
It's been so long since Gemina came out that I like keep forgetting about Obsidio. And also, Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner have another series they're starting.
Oh yeah.
Which I'm super excited about. So many
Did that
books.
get pushed back? Because I swear, or maybe it's just Amy Kaufman by herself had a book out this year.
I think she did, or she announced a book deal this year, and then Megan.
I swear it was another like spacey, space romance book.
I think what they're doing together next, Spacey.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she just does space stuff.
But it's more near future.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, yeah, that sounds cool. That's Unearthed.
Yeah.
Both of them.
I don't know, all these Broken Stars I was kind of whatever about, just not necessarily my style. I know a lot of people love it, so I'm intrigued to see what she'll do for the next one. I know y'all love it. Like I remember even watching before I was a word nerd, watching the word nerds like love that book, and actually that's why I read it because I was like, well, the word nerds all like think it's great, so I should go read it.
Then like I don't know, maybe I can't trust these guys.
It was good. Like I didn't fall like head over heels for it. Just I guess space stuff isn't like super my style, but
yeah. I figured out what book I was confusing with the Hazelwood. It was The Wicker King because they both have like black and gold covers.
Ah, yes. Yeah,
Anyway.
I tried reading that book. It was no, I did not like it. Also, it was such a cop-out ending. I was so mad.
Two books I'm super excited for that are coming out next year: The Bells by Danielle Clayton, and Ace of Shades by Amanda Foody.
Ooh, what is oh wait, is that the sequel to Daughter of the Burning City?
I don't think it's a direct sequel. It's just a different book by her.
Oh, okay. That's cool. Okay.
Yeah, Casino Family, City of Sin. There's some like tagline that's like, "Take your card, take your life," sort of thing.
What?
It looks really creepy and amazing.
Oh my gosh, that reminds me, the sequel to Caraval should be coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had that forever ago.
Right.
Me too.
Man, it's time me for a change.
Yeah. Also, I'm excited for, I added this one recently, Sky in the Deep by Adrienne Young. It's like a Viking fantasy.
Ooh.
It sounds so good.
Is it Sky like with a K-E at the end?
No, just regular Sky.
Okay, Sky and
But yeah, it's like this like girl and like these clans that are all at war, and like she has a brother that she thought was dead, and then she sees him fighting for like the enemy side and like finds out he's really alive and like betrayed them.
Dun-dun.
Oh
my gosh, that sounds so cool.
And there's like a blood feud between families, and she has to like unite with someone from the other family to end it.
Dope. Okay, that sounds right up my alley.
We had a question from Jody asking if any of us read Autobiography by Christina Lauren.
No, but it's on my list.
Oh, yeah,
I almost I had like some like extra like I had like a coupon at Barnes & Noble, and I was gonna like buy a book, and that was I had like 4 books I was deciding between, and that was one of them, but I got a different one. But I got the Poison Blade by Kate Elliott instead, which I am enjoying.
Oh yeah, I read the first one of that, and I never got around to reading the other ones.
Yeah, I'm finally reading the second one now, and I'm gonna. I already know I'm gonna wait until like this summer to read the third one because I'm waiting for it to come out in paperback because my other ones are paperbacks. And I'm like, no, I'll wait for this book just so I can have the paperback. But the second book's pretty good. It's a little bit slower paced than the first one, but I really like it. I'm enjoying it.
I thought it was a good like new Hunger Games kind of book.
But fantasy, yeah.
Yes, but like fantasy Hunger Games.
And without
like
everyone having to kill each other.
Feminist, biracial fantasy Hunger
without
Games.
Without the murder.
Yes, with actual murder.
Well, there's still some other attempted murder, but not children murdering each other.
That's okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I really like that book a lot.
Yeah, it was a neat idea. I'm trying to think what else there.
We have another question from Davis Hicks. Now that Nano is well over, what was it like working with Nano? They're the best.
It's so lovely.
They're the nicest people.
Yeah. It is a dream working with them every time they ask us.
Yeah.
And every year we just hope they'll ask us to work with them again.
Yeah, it was lovely. It was really fun doing the live chats.
Yeah. And they give us a lot of free reign, which is nice. Like,
yeah.
There's like, make a video that will pump people up, and we're like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we did the superhero one. That was so fun to do.
Yes.
It's just ridiculous enough that I was like, I can get behind this.
Yeah. Every time it happens, it feels like a highlight of my life.
Yes.
I'm just like the NaNoWriMo
thing
people
that's ever
happened.
Yeah. Feel free to ask us any bookish reading related questions you might have.
Yeah, leave your books that you want to read down in the comments. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be cross-referencing each other.
Yeah, it's the end of the year. This video is just a party, so we can talk about whatever you want us to talk about. That is bookish and writing.
Oh my gosh, I remember a new book that I want to talk about that comes out next year, and I cannot for the life of me remember what it's called. I'm going to see if I can find it in the meantime. But it's a Viking magic, like chosen one book, but it's 2 perspectives, and they're like both the chosen ones, but they're like 1,000 years apart.
Oh, okay. This sounds
Do you,
very familiar.
it's
I'm not gonna get
Raincoast.
there.
I know even the publisher. It's Raincoast, and I can't remember what it's. Oh, I can't remember what it's called.
That
Oh,
sounds
it's
so
like a
good.
gold cover.
I feel like maybe I've been approved for that on NetGalley.
Oh my gosh, if you are, that would be amazing. Because it looked so good. I remember being like, that one is the one that I want. And now, of course, I'm like, ah. Oh, hey, Kelly, I see that you want to read Sky in the Deep. We're just like chilling on Goodreads right now. Like, oh, hey.
Are you talking about Furyborn?
Yes, Furyborn. That one. Oh my gosh. If yes, Furyborn with the E on the end. I can't remember. Trying to search it as well here. Oh no, by Claire Legrand. Oh my lord, it looks so freaking cool.
Got it right now.
Yeah, everyone's just on
I'm on NetGalley on one screen with you guys on another screen, Goodreads on another screen, and I was pre-approved for Site Witched, and now I need to just do that.
Excitement. Okay, so let's see. Furyborn is fantasy novel. There's assassins. There's elemental magic. And the only people who should possess power are a pair of prophesied queens. But we find the queens and we're in their heads, but they're 1,000 years apart. So it's also like kind of time
so
travel.
cool.
And cosmic war that spans millennia.
I'm in.
This one seems like I might love it or I might hate it. It's not like elemental magic and time travel things are both hit or miss for me.
Yeah, same.
I want to
That
try
cover though.
I like the like high concept of it though. Like just on concept alone, you could do it in any kind of setting, and I'm interested.
Yeah.
Oh, there's another one too that because so my last semester I took a Victorian literature class, and I had to read Jane Eyre, and I was like, okay, it's Jane Eyre. It's a Victorian lit book. It's not the most amazing thing in the world, but it's cool. And one of the things that I got recommended from Raincoast was that there's going to be a book coming out that they were like, oh, it's like a retelling of Jane Eyre. And I was like, oh, yeah, whatever.
Is it the one in space?
Yeah, they're like in space. I'm like, oh my god, I want it. So,
I remember when that was announced.
Called either.
Yeah, I don't either, but I remember when like the book deal was announced because I feel like somebody I know knows the author or something. Might even be Kyra who knows the author or something. I feel like Kyra knows everyone.
Yeah.
She does. There's a lot of people.
Kyra knows all the people who are getting book deals right now.
Yeah.
It really does.
It's like, oh yeah, we're main reading for them. Like, how do you know this many cool people?
But yeah, because I remember that because I was like, this is either going to be really cool or really weird.
Yeah, but like I think like the Rochester is like the ship or something like that. The ship's name, and apparently there's a sassy AI in it, and I'm like, yes, I want this. I really want.
It'll be interesting because I'm not crazy about Jane Eyre, so I'm like, I will either love this or hate it. So.
Well, that's why also I'm really excited to read Erin's new book because I also for that class had to read The Picture of Dorian Gray, and I really, really loved it. So now I'm like, I have source material. I'm ready to read this new book, and I'm ready to judge to see if it is historically accurate. Very excited.
Also, a book that I'm excited to see how it is because I haven't liked this author's last few books, but Tamora Pierce has a new book coming out.
Oh, that's right.
This year, Tempest and Slaughter. Yeah. I didn't like the Becca Cooper books or whatever. They were epistolary or however you pronounce it. And I didn't think it was done well. And I wasn't crazy about the Trickster books either, even though I know a lot of people like those. But these ones sound good because they're like a prequel series to the Immortals.
Well,
series,
on my own YouTube channel, I have a lot of people saying like, oh, you should read Tamora Pierce, like you'd love her, she's fantasy stuff, it's right up your alley. And so I think at the thrift store I found Trickster's Choice, I think I found. So it's like, oh, all right, like sure, I still haven't read it, and I bought it in like May.
I would say you definitely should read the Alana books first because like Trickster's Choice is about Alana's daughter, so.
Okay. Okay.
If you're gonna read Tamora Pierce, you should always start with the Alana series.
Okay.
It was the original series.
I'll keep my eye out for it. All right, sure.
Yeah, I'm a little bit conflicted over Tamora Pierce just because she's been a little bit of a problematic person, but she's just like doesn't understand sensitivity readers, And so she keeps saying things about like how they're stupid, and it's like, no, just stop saying things, please.
Oh dear.
Because they very much get the impression that she doesn't understand. She's one of those people who's like, oh, this is telling authors what they can and can't do, and I'm like, doesn't your editor do that? Like,
Oh dear.
but yeah. So, but her older fantasy books, I think, were amazing, and there's such a like basis for like what YA fantasy is today, like, you know.
Uh-huh.
Like she was writing YA fantasy before YA fantasy had its own section at Barnes and Noble. We had a question from Amanda. How do you keep the momentum going once Nano is over? That's a really good question, because I have written approximately 500 words since Nano ended. I finished the book.
Yeah, I'm not a good person to ask, because I almost always take a break after Nano. And this time I did, because like I finished my book at the end of Nano, so like I've been taking a couple weeks off to get ready for revisions, and because I was on vacation, so I've just been doing like sorting out ideas for my next project, which is not a super active thing because I have a lot of stuff to figure out. But so I don't have a good answer, basically.
I think I feel like if taking a break works for your style, it can be a great thing to do. After such an intense month of writing, taking, even if it's just a few days, to relax and let your brain decompress a little. But then really get into the habit of like hard goal setting. One of the things that makes such a huge difference with NaNoWriMo is just knowing like, okay, I got a chart this month, I got to write 50,000 words. And like, it's impractical to think that you'll write 50,000 words every single month, because we have like responsibilities and day jobs and stuff. But like, even if it's just 5,000 words, maybe you only want to write 5,000 words this month, or 10,000 words, and then just like do the math, figure out, okay, how many words would I need to write a day? Or is there like a set amount of time that you want to set a goal to write per day, and then figure out like what rewards you're going to give yourself if you do that. Yeah, goal setting and like sticking to it has always been my best way to keep momentum.
Yeah. And yeah, just knowing that like the momentum probably is going to slow down some. Like you can't keep up the Nano pace forever, most likely, unless you like have a lot of time to devote to writing, or you write like Kelly, who is very, very fast, but and writes a lot of words.
Well, because we have a lot of questions that are around Nano and around writing stuff. Why don't we start talking about some writing-related goals in 2018? We can fangirl about all the books that we want, and that would probably be like a 3-hour live chat.
Yes.
So do you guys have goals? Do you want to do revisions? Do you want to write 10 words every day? Do you want to write a new book? Like what's your plan?
Try. I forget how they phrase it. Someone in the comments at one point talked about at least 1 word a day or something like that. They had an acronym for it, but it was like just at least 1 word every single day. And I'd love to try that, because I can write 1 word in 1 second. But hopefully that would prompt you to write even just a sentence every day or whatever. But as long as I do 1 word a day, I think that could be really cool. I haven't fully committed to it yet, but it could
New Year's resolution. 1 word a day.
Yeah, I'm going to be starting revisions next week because I'm off work all next week. So that's like a big thing I'll be working on all next year, or for the beginning of next year, is revisions of the book I just finished. And then I have another idea that I'm really excited for that I want to work on. But like I said, I don't know much about it yet. So it's going to be a little while before I start it, because I just have vague ideas.
Yeah. So I also finished my draft in Nano. Well, in the weeks following Nano.
Oh, you actually did finish it?
Yes, I did. I finally went back and finished it.
Yay!
And then I didn't have the feeling of victory that I usually have when I finish books, because this one, it felt like I was finishing it just to finish it. And so I've been very worried about how to revise it. And I'm not going to spoil anything, so no one has to worry, but I went and saw Star Wars, and there was a set of characters' relationship dynamics that I really, really liked and I really want to play with, and like 700 light bulbs turned on in my head.
Oh yeah.
So I'm hoping to figure out like what my revision plan is going to be for the new book, or for this book that I wrote in Nano. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to do a total rewrite. Like, it's going to be almost unrecognizable.
Wow.
Like, same world, roughly the same characters, everything else different.
Really?
Yeah, but I'm very excited. And so I'm hoping to get that done like January to March, finish that draft so that I can revise it again. We had a question from the Dormouse House. I'm a new subscriber. Do you guys mostly read / talk about YA?
Well.
Probably. Technically no, probably yes.
Oh yeah. Well, originally we were the YA WordNerds, so yes, but this
We're in the process of branching out.
Yeah.
This new year we're gonna come up and we're gonna do some middle grade stuff. We're gonna do adult stuff. We're gonna
And
do
for the most part, we talk
comics
about just
and
writing. So
Yeah.
like the books we talk about are a lot of YA, but the writing stuff is fairly.
Yeah, we read a lot. We read a lot of YA. But Kelly writes adult, and Erin also writes middle grade. Her book that's coming out is a middle grade, so we do look at other things too. But a lot of our reading is YA because it's what we enjoy.
Yeah. Yes, and next year our book club picks are actually the most branched out they've ever been since we did a rebrand this year at the start of season 4 or whatever it is we're on now.
We've got a graphic novel in there. So.
Yeah, so there's going to be graphic novel, there's going to be some adults, middle grade, a little bit of everything.
Yeah, which is good because like I feel like there's a lot of, especially middle grade, that I really want to read but just don't get around to because there's so many YA books and there's so many regular adult books, and I'm like branching out into just regular fiction, I suppose, regular adult fiction. I mean, a lot of like a regular adult fantasy stuff as well, but I want to get into middle grade.
Yeah, I always look at middle grade and it's like, this book is so small, I could read it so fast. I'll just
exactly
when I want to read something fast, and then I never read it. Oh, we've got lots of questions coming in. Thank you so much, everyone. We had a question. Where did it go? Yes, we had a question. I always have good ideas and can envision them, but when I look at other people's writing, I feel like mine is subpar. How do I change this?
You have to remember that those other people have gone through like 12 sets of edits. So, I mean, their writing was probably...
And they've had
exactly
agents
like
and editors and copy editors have all looked at it too. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. Everyone feels that way when they look at it.
It's like, do you just take one selfie and post it? No, you take like 50 of them and then you throw filters on it and then like go through and pick the right one. And then everyone's like, oh my God, I wish my selfie looked like yours. Like,
yeah.
No one just hands in a term paper after your first draft. Like, you go over it a couple times and make sure that, you know, everything
really
sounds
lazy
okay.
about our papers in college.
Yeah.
What? Really? Oh, man.
To be fair, I was not an English major, so there wasn't nearly as much pressure for the papers to be good.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, fine.
Yeah. I studied linguistics, and it was like, you had to have proper sentence structure, but if you went beyond that, it was like real praiseworthy.
I hate formatting so much.
But yes, most published books are going to be better than your like first or second draft is going to be, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because you probably also have maybe once or twice came across a published book that you're like, ugh, my writing's at least this good.
Oh, yeah.
If it's at all possible, I would recommend just not reading your work as you're writing it. Like, don't do a read through of it until you finished the first draft, because it's like, then it'll still be a dumpster fire, but you'll find like little things in it that are great that you're like, oh, like this makes up for the fact that 50,000 other words were not great and I'm gonna have to polish them.
And I make sure when I'm reading through a first draft and like marking up all the things that need to be fixed, I make sure to like mark the things that I love too, because it makes me feel better. And that's what you're supposed to do when you critique other people's work too. You know, you're supposed to point out the good things and bad things, so do it in your own work. And also it's good because then you can remember what things you want to keep. Be like, oh, I really like this. Do more of this.
Exactly.
We had another question. How do you continue writing a book instead of branching off into several ideas and books that are never completed?
You just gotta force yourself.
Yeah, at some point it's
Self-control.
just a do it thing.
Yeah. Like you're never going to be a published author if you don't finish anything.
Yeah, exactly.
You can try like you're going to get the shiny ideas. I inevitably get a lot of shiny ideas once I'm in the not as fun part of writing a book, which usually happens at about the 15,000 word mark. And when those ideas come, I figure out if I can implement it into the book that I'm writing right now. Like if there's just something about that I enjoyed that I could rework into the idea that I'm working on. And if the answer is no, then I just write it down in a little file on my phone, and I say I can come back to it when the other one is done. I had one idea this year that was like so shiny, and I wanted to work on it so bad, to the point that like the day I finished my Nano project, I opened it back up and I was like, hello, my darling, I can work on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's one that's not good for the market right now. So it was like, I need to have one that's better for the market right now to give to my agent, and then I can work on this one all I want. We had another question. Do any of you write fan fiction?
Not anymore.
I do not.
It's what I started out writing when I was like in like middle school, but I don't do it anymore.
I still have an idea for. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, it's okay. I was just gonna say I know Desiree, who's another one of our word nerds, who's not here today. I know she does, but I know a lot of us did. I think I'm like the odd one out that I never did. But
I still read it sometimes.
Oh, no? Okay.
Yeah, I definitely still read fan fiction. I have an idea for this Draco Ginny one. That would be a lot of work, but it would be great because Drini was my ship.
I also have this idea for a Drini fanfic that just sits in the back of my head all the time. When I'm tired of writing like my own book and I don't want to write it anymore, I'm like, I could just write that fanfic instead. Because it's totally fine in fanfic to have it be full of tropes and cliches. No one cares. People want that in fanfic.
Yes. But it would be like so much work because I would have to go back through and look at like all the books because I would want to weave it in through like everything. So it's like, nah, they've been together this whole time. I think about it a lot. It would be really fun.
I actually think about it a lot too, and I'm always like, man, that would be so great.
Right?
Like, I'm glad that the idea at least exists, that you told it to me, so at least I can like think about it.
Yes.
And pretend I read it and be like, oh, so great.
Yes, because like I know how to write now. I was a terrible writer when I was writing fan fiction. It's like I could actually write prettily now. We've got some great tips in the discussion section to questions people have been asking. We had a question from Jody. What is the difference between upper YA and new adult?
Names of things. I mean, new adult, as it currently stands, which it barely does, but the little bit of it that there is almost solely like romance.
Contemporary romance.
Yeah, contemporary romance. Yeah, so if it's not contemporary romance and doesn't include like sexy times, it's probably going to be classified as upper YA.
Yeah.
Because new adult has kind of become like very much pushed into like a specific box. as much as some people wanted it to not be that way, it is. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'd also say that new adult is more college age, and YA is fairly strictly within the high school age. So I would say like upper YA, the characters could be 17, 18, and then in new adult they would be like 19, 20. But that's just a very slim small thing there. But I don't want to classify it as YA with sex, because that's not true.
Yeah.
It does have more like adult themes in it.
Going
than
through
just
the Amazon categories, if you go under fantasy, there's a subcategory that's new adult and college, and I'm pretty
lovely.
sure they're not all sexy time books. Like a lot of them are just like,
true.
because a lot of it is self-published stuff. Like this is only true in self-published, but like there are stories about people at that like time of life where you're just kind of figuring out how to adult set in fantasy worlds that are self-published, just not so much.
See, I'd love to read more of that, because I feel like now I am technically a new adult, and I would love to be able to read stuff that's not just like I'm going to college and like, oh my god, and now I have a boyfriend and like sexy times. Like I'd rather be like, can you like be discovering a magical world now? Like you didn't do it in high school, but like now you're just late bloomer. Like now you can see the magical creatures. Like, can we have that now? That sounds great.
Oh my god.
Erin always says that she wants fangirl with dragons.
Yes, that'd be so cool.
Because fangirl's kind of one of those odd books. Like it's about college, like a college freshman, and like some of the other characters aren't freshmen; they're even like older, but it's still classified as YA because it very much has like the tone and feel of a YA book.
Yeah, well, like some YA books, well, I'll just say new adult. Some new adult books where the characters are a little older and they're dealing with more like adulting type themes and like coming into yourself and college age, and like a lot of like firsts of like doing things on your own. A lot of them get pushed into the YA category, or they get pushed into the regular other category of romance or fantasy or what have you. But it would be kind of nice to be able to have like a new adult section. Like Fangirl is technically I would say it's a new adult because freshman in college. But then there's also other fantasy books that the characters are like 17, 18, but they're just put in the regular fantasy section.
Yeah,
so kind of nice. Like
it's like the City of Brass is kind of right over the age barrier, and it's categorized as adult, but it's been like marketed a lot in YA as well because it's very much a crossover.
Yeah,
because the characters are around like 19, 20 or so.
Yeah. Well, I think Queen of the Tearling is going to be a book club next year, and I'm really excited for that because it was a great book, and the character's also I think 19 at the time. So that's, and I mean, she's, not like leaving home to go to college. She's inheriting a kingdom, but she's still 19. That's still an issue in her world. So I'm like, cool. That sounds great.
And that's another, I feel like a lot of like new adult age range that's fantasy will get pushed into the adult category. That's usually where it will show up. Because that's where Queen of the Tearling is also like considered adult. Yeah.
Queen of the Tearling. I say like even Stormdancer by, Jay Kristoff, main character's also like 16, but like put in fantasy. Same with Bone Season and Darker Shade of Magic. I know that one like kind of straddles the line a little bit. I was like, oh, and Nevernight, but I'm like, no, Nevernight is not a book for children, not a book for anybody like under 18. Oh my lord! Oh, there's so much gore.
I think too. There's a lot of. Like the fact that there is so much of it available on Amazon, like really self-publishing authors are kind of paving the way for it. And as it continues to be more successful, I suspect that bookstores will eventually follow suit. It's just so slow going in the traditional publishing world.
Yeah. Well, I think it shows that there actually is an audience for it, because I know a lot of people are like, either in the transition stage or they're, I want to read a book about a 17-year-old, or I want to read a book about a 22-year-old, but I don't want to have to read about, like a 35-year-old housewife, like a regular fiction, like rom-com or whatever. And like, think of Colleen Hoover. She's huge, and all of her books are technically romance books, but they're also technically new adult books because they're all college age.
Yeah. I really just want like the pacing and the tone of YA in stories about people who are a little more my age, I guess.
Yeah.
Fantasy is really where my issue is a lot of the time, because it's like a lot of adult fantasy I don't know, the pacing and the tone and the voice of it just don't appeal to me the way that YA fantasy does.
Yeah, that's the reason why I read so much YA. And a lot of people like, you still read like YA books, like aren't you reading normal stuff? And just because I like them more, they're more exciting.
Young adult.
Yeah, they're so much more fun. Like, come on, guys.
It's like, it's like I could read this fun YA fantasy, or I could read like an adult fantasy that spends like 30 pages describing like them walking down a road, you know? And then has a bunch of like women who are purely there just to have boobs. Like, great.
Exactly.
So happy for you.
Yeah, because YA fantasy is a lot more female driven than adult fantasy is.
That is very true. I didn't even realize that. Yeah, so many YA heroines. Yeah, YA is mostly female, I'd say.
Yeah, and I think it tends to be YA fantasy is so much more character driven. Like, it can still be fast paced, but mostly you're watching like a very defined character arc where they come into their own, save the world, that sort of thing. And while adult fantasy is still great, and like you definitely, if you want to write fantasy, I would still recommend reading the classics and stuff. It's definitely much more world building focused, more like lots of characters making small changes that like change the course of history, sorts of things. And it's just almost like totally different worlds. We've got a question from Michelle. My first draft of my NaNoWriMo is a character who's around 30 to 35. I'm 26. How do you get in the mindset of a character who's so different and had so many different life experiences?
I mean, whether it's a different age or anything else, like your characters are always going to be different from you in some way. I mean, a lot of us write fantasy, so like our characters have very different lives. Like, I've never been a princess, or like had to fight for my life or anything. Imagine it, figure it out. You probably know people who are in their 30s, hopefully. If not, meet some people who are in their 30s.
Or read books about people in their 30s.
Watch movies about people in their 30s, yeah. Lots of TV is about people around that age, so.
They're not so different, I don't think.
Yeah, that too.
No. Says Kelly, our resident, almost 30-year-old.
I mean, like, I'm secretly an 80-year-old man inside of a 22-year-old girl body, but so, I mean,
there's going to be more similarities than there are differences.
Yeah. The older I get, the more I'm realizing that you never, I don't know, you hit like the age where you can take care of yourself, and the rest of it, you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just figuring it out.
My mom is like almost 60, and she still keeps saying like, oh, I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. Like, it never ends.
She's almost 60? Wow. Our parents, man.
Next year, actually.
What?
whoa.
We had a question from Charles. Was Lord of the Rings YA? And I'm going to go with no. Frodo was like 45 or something in it.
Bilbo
And I know Hobbits are young at heart.
Yeah. YA wasn't really much of a thing back then either. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Hobbit tends to be marketed towards children a lot of the time. Even though the characters aren't children, it kind of has more of that whimsical feel of like a middle grade-ish age range. But Lord of the Rings is very firmly.
It's very high fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I read The Hobbit when I was like in like 5th grade or something.
Really? I did not read The Hobbit till after Lord of the Rings.
My mom was like, you should read this, and I was like, okay.
Fine, Mom. Make me read awesome books.
Well, Well, that's why I'm really excited for the new Wrinkle in Time movie, because I read that in 6th grade, and I'm like, oh my god!
That was before Harry Potter, right? It was my favorite book before Harry Potter came out. And I read
I mean,
so much.
A Wrinkle in Time came out in like the 60s or something.
I was pretty sure, but I didn't want to be like that guy. I feel like that was my favorite book before Harry Potter, and then you're all like, it came out in 2003.
But yeah, I loved that book, so I'm excited.
I was in 6th grade, and my teacher read it to the class. I remember sitting there being like, "Oh, we're gonna hear more of A Wrinkle in Time today," like kind of thing. Sit down and did reading. It was so good.
And the character was Meg, and I'm Megan, so it's real easy to self-insert as a child. We've been going for about an hour.
Yeah, about so.
Wrap it up for the
year. Like talking about books.
No, wrap it up for the final time. We're not going to be here next week because I actually think, is it next Sunday, Christmas Eve? Which, I mean, would be
it is.
To spend Christmas with you guys, but we're all having our own family things, and I'm assuming a lot of you watchers probably also have a lot of your own family things to do. Or if you don't celebrate Christmas, just other holiday festivities. So we're going to be taking a hiatus from this channel, and I believe we will be...
7th?
I'm just actually checking the calendar now because I'm like, what is that day? We will
next week's Christmas Eve, and the week after that is New Year's Eve.
Yes. We'll be back the 7th, which is a Sunday for the new first live chat of the 2018. How exciting!
A new year.
A whole new Yeah, all resolutioned up, all Christmased out.
Yes.
It's going to be a fun time. So I suppose we will all say goodbye for now. Thank you for a wonderful year of tuning into the Word Nerds. And we had a lot of fun, a lot of live chats, book clubs, videos. We will be bringing you exactly the same thing next year. Way more fun. We're going to be daily vlogging. We'll do our every Sunday live chats and book clubs and all the stuff that you love about us. So I guess happy holidays, everybody. We will see you all next year.
Bye.
Bye.